I'm going to use my brief time to just have everyone send a round of applause to the DevOps Day organizers. They've been doing an awesome job. All right, so as I said, I'm Gareth, and I'm going to be talking about leaving an open source project. I want to preface this and say this is not a how-to, and it's not a suggestion. If anyone decides to leave a project after seeing this talk, please don't blame me. It's not my fault. So about 6 months ago, I decided to leave a job that I'd been at for just over 2 years. It was a job I'd grown bored with. I'd complained to my friends and family many months before leaving. And when I left, I had the usual kind of process to it. I had the exit interview. I told my supervisor. My coworkers took me out for the goodbye lunch. Afterwards, my friends and family told me it was about damn time that I left. A couple months later, I decided to leave an open source project that I had helped start, and I'd been actively running for the 14 years. It was a very different process. And it had been something I'd been doing longer than most jobs. When I left, a lot of people were surprised, mostly because no one in a leadership position had left the project up until that point, and no one knew what that meant for the project, especially me. Unlike a lot of the jobs I'd left, there was no exit strategy. So this got me thinking just about leaving projects in general, why people leave, what it means, how they leave, and just kind of what that means for the project in general. So I started talking to people who had recently left projects, kind of asked them like how they left, why they left, kind of what the process had been like for them leaving. And the responses I got were very varied. So people left or they didn't have time, they changed jobs, or the project was no longer relevant, no one was using it anymore. But sometimes people left for negative reasons. So usually when this happened, people didn't know. If they had a problem with a project leader or someone else in the project, they didn't know who to go to. And so they would oftentimes leave, and leave very vocally. I'm sure we've all heard about a few recently. So oftentimes when someone leaves a project, it leads to either a new project starting up in a completely different space, or a fork of the existing project. Oftentimes when we leave jobs, we're asked not to recruit people from our companies. That doesn't exist in the open source world. So if you've left a project recently or you've decided to leave, again, I'm not suggesting anyone do that. What does that mean? What do you do after that? Are there resources for the project in your name? What does the transition look like? Do you give 2 weeks notice? Do you have an exit interview? Does the project have exit interviews? Does it make sense for them to? What about notifications, or announcements? Does the project make the notification? Who says, and what do you say? What's appropriate, and what are you and are you not allowed to say? Does that exist? Usually when people join projects, they don't sign NDAs. It doesn't exist. Most of the people I talked to that had left projects, there had been no announcement, especially if they were in a leadership position. And a lot of people that had left hadn't told anyone in the project or out of the project because they considered their role rather minor. What if you work for a company that's funding your project and you leave that job or you leave the project? Who is the project? Who owns that project? Who owns the resources that that project is using? So in speaking to a lot of leaders and members of current projects, a lot of them had no idea what they would do if someone left who was in a prominent position, because no one had left in prominent positions yet. And a lot of the groups wished they had something in place because people had left, and they'd left very vocally. So what can we do to make this better? If your project doesn't have some sort of governance, it needs governance. If you don't have a process in place that documents how people leave and what's involved, it needs that. I realize this is a bigger issue and a bigger topic that can be discussed in a 5-minute talk, but I hope that the conversations start. The way that people leave a project is very similar to how they begin. It sets the tone. So I'm Gareth, as I said. This has been Leaving an Open Source Project. If you've enjoyed it, please find me later and we can continue the conversation. If you haven't enjoyed it and anything I've said has offended you, my name is Corey Quinn, and this has been Timmy's Family Uses Git, Why Can't We? Thank you.